My name is Mara. I'm 34 years old. And 6 months ago, I found a wallet on the ground that completely destroyed the life I thought I was living. Not slowly, not gently, all at once. I picked it up without thinking, slipped it into my bag, told myself I'd find the owner. Simple. Done. Except nothing about what happened next was simple. The moment I opened that wallet, I saw a photo. A woman's face staring back at me. And my hands went completely still. Because I knew that face. I just couldn't understand why a total stranger was carrying it. What I didn't know yet was that the wallet wasn't going to lead me to a stranger. It was going to lead me straight into a secret that had been kept from me for years. By people I trusted completely. Before I tell you what actually happened, if you're new here, please like this video and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? I read every single one. Now let me take you back to the exact moment it all started. It was a Tuesday. Nothing about that morning felt special. I was running late for work, coffee in one hand, bag slipping off my shoulder, dodging people on a wet sidewalk like I did every single day. That was my life back then. Rush, work, sleep, repeat. I wasn't unhappy. I just wasn't paying attention. And maybe that's exactly why it happened. I almost stepped on it. A brown leather wallet. Sitting right there on the pavement, soaked at the edges like someone had dropped it mid-stride and never looked back. Most people walked past it. I saw at least 2 people step around it deliberately. Eyes down. Not my problem. I understand that. I almost did the same thing. But I stopped. I don't know why. I just did. Picked it up. It was heavier than I expected. Thick with cards, folded receipts, whatever people stuff in there and forget about. I looked around. Nobody was stopping. Nobody was searching their pockets in a panic. Whoever dropped this, they were already gone. I slipped it into my bag. Told myself I'd figure it out on my lunch break. Find a name. Make a call. Hand it off and move on. That was the plan. Simple. Responsible. Completely ordinary. Except the moment I sat down at my desk and opened that wallet, nothing about my day stayed ordinary again. I set it flat on my desk. Looked around the office like I was doing something wrong. I wasn't. But something about opening a stranger's wallet feels uncomfortably personal. Like reading someone's diary without permission. I opened it anyway. Cash first. A few folded bills, nothing remarkable. Then cards. A bank card. A gym membership. A library card, which made me pause for half a second because who still uses those? Then an ID. I tilted it toward the light. The name read Daniel Okafor. The photo showed a man mid-30s, sharp jaw, serious eyes. The address listed was local. Same city. Same side of town, actually. So far, ordinary. I kept going. There was a folded receipt from a hardware store. A loyalty card with 2 stamps, and then, tucked behind everything else, pressed flat like it had been there a long time, a photograph. Not a phone printout. An actual photograph. The kind with slightly faded edges and that glossy old finish. I pulled it out carefully. A woman. Smiling. Standing in front of a lake somewhere, hair blowing sideways, completely unaware the photo was being taken. Candid. Natural. Like someone captured her in a private moment she didn't know she was having. I stared at it for a long time. Because I recognized her. I turned the photo over. Nothing on the back. No date. No name. No explanation. I flipped it front again and stared harder. She was maybe late 30s in the picture. Dark hair. A particular way of tilting her head slightly to the left when she smiled. I knew that tilt. I had seen it 1,000 times at a kitchen table across a living room, in the passenger seat of a car on long drives when I was small enough to sit in the back and just watch the adults talk. It was my mother. Not someone who looked like her. Not a coincidence. It was her. Younger. Lighter somehow. Like something heavy hadn't landed on her yet. My mother had been gone for 3 years. Stroke. Fast and without warning. No goodbye, no last conversation. Just a phone call from a number I didn't recognize and then a drive to a hospital I'd never been to before. And here she was. Inside a stranger's wallet. I put the photo down. Picked it back up. Put it down again. My hands were doing things my brain hadn't caught up to yet. I looked at the ID again. Daniel Okafor. I said the name out loud at my desk like that would help. It didn't. But I knew one thing immediately. I wasn't handing this wallet to the police. I was going to find him myself. I went through the wallet again. Slower this time. More deliberate. Behind the bank card there was a business card. Small. Cream-colored. Clean font. It read Daniel Okafor. Project consultant. And a phone number underneath. No company name. Just the number. I typed it into my phone. Didn't call yet. Just saved it. Then I sat back and thought about what I actually knew. A man I had never met was carrying a candid photograph of my mother. Not a formal photo. Not the kind you'd find online or in a newspaper. This was personal. The kind of photo you only have if you were there. If you knew her. If she meant something to you. Which meant Daniel Okafor knew my mother. And she never once mentioned him. I thought about that carefully. My mother was not a secretive woman. Or at least I believed that. She talked about her past. Her friends. Her regrets. She told me about the man she almost married before my father. She told me about a job she quit after one day. She told me things I didn't ask for and some I wish she hadn't. But she never said that name. Not once. I picked up my phone. My thumb sat over the call button for a long time. Every reasonable part of me said wait. Think. Be careful. I called anyway. It rang twice. Then he picked up. His voice was calm. Low. The kind of voice that doesn't give anything away immediately. Hello. I told him my name was Mara. That I had found a wallet this morning on Clement Street. That I believed it was his. There was a pause. Not long. Maybe 2 seconds. But I noticed it. That's mine, he said. I've been looking for it. He sounded relieved. Normal. Exactly what you'd expect from someone who just lost their wallet. I should have felt reassured. I didn't. I told him the ID said Daniel Okafor. He confirmed it. I told him I could meet him somewhere public to return it. He agreed immediately. Suggested a coffee shop 3 blocks from where I worked. Said he could be there by 6. Then I said it. I don't know why I said it right then. Something just pushed it out of me before I could make a smarter decision. I told him I had looked through the wallet to find his contact information. That I had seen the photograph inside. The one of the woman by the lake. Complete silence. Not the silence of someone confused. Not the silence of someone about to say, oh, that's just a friend. This was different. This was the silence of someone who had just been caught holding something they never expected to explain. He didn't hang up. But it took him a long time to speak again. When he finally spoke, his voice had changed. Still controlled. But something underneath it had shifted. He said the photograph was private. That he would explain when we met. Then he said goodbye and the line went dead. I sat with my phone in my hand for a full minute. That evening I called my friend Denise. Told her everything. The wallet. The photo. The call. She listened without interrupting, which is unusual for Denise. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment and then she said, Mara, do not meet this man alone. I told her it was a coffee shop. Public. Busy. Perfectly safe. She said that's what people say right before something goes wrong. I almost laughed. I didn't quite get there. She offered to come with me. Sit at a nearby table. Just be there. I told her no. Whatever this man had to say about my mother, I needed to hear it without an audience. Without someone next to me watching my face fall apart in real time. Denise made me promise to text her the moment I arrived and the moment I left. Promised. That night I barely slept. I kept picking up my phone and looking at his business card. Project consultant. What did that even mean? I searched his name online. Found almost nothing. A LinkedIn profile with a professional photo and very little else. The serious eyes from the ID stared back at me. I almost canceled twice before morning. I got there early. Picked a table near the window where I could see the door. Ordered a coffee I didn't drink. Texted Denise. She replied with 3 words. Eyes open, Mara. 6 o'clock came. A man walked in and stopped just inside the entrance. He scanned the room slowly. When his eyes landed on me, he didn't smile. Didn't wave. He just stopped. Completely still. Like the air went out of him all at once. I recognized him from the ID photo. But in person he looked different. Older around the eyes. Like someone who hadn't been sleeping well for a long time. He walked over. Sat down across from me. Put both hands flat on the table. For a moment neither of us said anything. Then he looked at me. Really looked. Not the way strangers look at each other. The way people look when they are trying to confirm something they already suspect. His jaw tightened. He glanced down at the table, then back up at my face. He said, you look exactly like her. Not like a compliment. Not like small talk. Like something that had just punched straight through him. I slid the wallet across the table. He didn't touch it. I asked him how he knew my mother. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Looked at his hands. Then he said something that made my chair feel like it dropped 3 feet beneath me. He said, I didn't just know your mother, Mara. He said her name. My mother's name. Elena. He said it the way you say a name you've been carrying quietly for years. Not out loud often. But never fully put down either. I didn't move. He reached into his jacket and pulled out his phone. scrolled for a moment, then turned the screen toward me. It was a photo. Older. Digitized from something physical. My mother again. Younger this time. Much younger. Maybe mid-20s. Standing next to a man I didn't recognize. Both of them laughing at something outside the frame. She was holding a coffee cup. He had his hand on her shoulder. Comfortable. Easy. The way you stand next to someone you've known a long time. I looked up at Daniel. He pointed to the man in the photo. That was my father, he said. I heard the words. Processed them individually. Couldn't make them connect into something that made sense. His father. My mother. Together. In a photograph that looked nothing like the life she described to me. She told me she grew up quietly. Moved around a little. Kept to herself until she met my father. Clean and simple and completely believable. Except here was evidence of something else entirely. A whole chapter she never opened. I asked him when that photo was taken. He said 1991. I was born in 1990. The coffee shop kept moving around me. Chairs scraping. Someone laughing at the counter. Completely normal sounds from a world that had just stopped making sense. I looked at the photo again. 1991. My mother. His father. Together. I was born in 1990. I did the math without wanting to. Daniel watched me do it. He didn't rush me. Didn't explain. Just sat there with his hands still flat on the table like he was bracing for something. I asked him straight. No careful wording. No soft approach. I asked him if his father and my mother were together before I was born. He nodded once. Then he said they were together for almost 2 years. His father never talked about why it ended. Just that it did. Suddenly. And that the woman he loved disappeared without explanation. No letter. No call. Nothing. His father searched for her. For years apparently. Then eventually stopped. Got married. Had Daniel. Built a life forward because there was nothing left to build backward. He died 4 years ago never knowing what happened to her. 1 year before my mother died. I pressed my fingers against the edge of the table. Because here is what I was now sitting with. His father loved my mother. My mother vanished on him. And then she built an entirely different life. Met my father. Had me. And somewhere in that timeline something didn't add up. I asked him if his father ever mentioned her being pregnant. Daniel went very still. He didn't answer immediately. He picked up his phone. Scrolled again. Further this time. Like he was deciding how much to show me and in what order. Then he placed it face down on the table. He said his father left journals. Handwritten. 3 of them covering the years between 1988 and 1993. Daniel found them in a box after the funeral. Read them once. Put them away. Couldn't decide what to do with them. He said my mother's name appeared in almost every entry. Then he said, in the last journal. The final entries from late 1989. His father wrote that Elena had told him something. Something that changed everything between them. And then 3 weeks after that entry she was gone. I asked him what she told him. He said. She told him she was pregnant. The room went quiet in a way that had nothing to do with noise levels. I counted backward again. Late 1989. Pregnant. I was born April 1990. I asked him the question I had no business asking a stranger in a coffee shop 40 minutes after meeting him for the first time. I asked him if he thought his father was mine. He reached down. Picked up a folded piece of paper from his jacket pocket. Set it on the table between us. It was a printout. A DNA ancestry result. His name at the top. He slid it toward me without a word. I didn't pick it up immediately. I looked at it sitting there between us. A folded piece of paper. Ordinary in every way except for what it might mean. Daniel said he had taken the test 6 months ago. Genealogy curiosity he called it. No agenda. Just wanted to know where his family came from. Standard ancestry kit. Sent it off and forgot about it. Then the results came back with a match. A close match. The kind the website flags separately. The kind that doesn't show up under distant relatives or third cousins twice removed. The kind that sits in its own category with its own specific language. He tapped the paper once. Picked it up. The match was listed under a profile with a username I didn't recognize at first. Then I looked closer. It was an account my mother had created. Her email address was still attached to it. She had taken the same test. Sometime in the last 2 years of her life she had quietly ordered a kit, submitted it and created a profile. She never mentioned it. Never showed me results. Never said a word. But she had been looking. Which meant she knew. Or at least suspected. And she went looking for confirmation without ever telling me what she was searching for. I set the paper down. My mother had spent the last years of her life quietly unraveling the same secret. I was now holding in a coffee shop across from a man who might be my brother. We sat there for a long time after that. No dramatic moment. No tears. No sudden embrace. Just two people sitting across from each other in a loud coffee shop trying to hold something enormous very carefully. Daniel spoke first. He said he hadn't come to that meeting expecting anything specific. He just wanted his wallet back. But when I said I had seen the photograph, something shifted. He had been carrying that photo for years. His father kept it in his own wallet until the day he died. Daniel took it after the funeral without fully understanding why. Just felt wrong to leave it behind. I thought about my mother taking that ancestry test alone. Sitting somewhere quiet with her laptop. Ordering the kit. Waiting for results. Never telling me. Maybe she got the match and didn't know how to start that conversation. Maybe she was waiting for the right moment that never came. She ran out of time. I folded the paper and slid it back to Daniel. He shook his head. Told me to keep it. I looked at this man across the table. Same serious eyes from the ID photo. Something around the jaw that I had seen in my own mirror and never thought twice about. I picked up my phone and texted Denise. 2 words. I'm okay. It wasn't entirely true. But it wasn't entirely false either. Sometimes the thing that breaks your life open is a wallet on a wet sidewalk. Sometimes the person you were always supposed to find was already carrying proof of you long before you ever met. I walked out of that coffee shop different than I walked in. Some doors don't close once you open them. You just learn to live in the new room.